You look like you could use more extreme metal music in your library, and it looks like you need some right now. So, good, because in the next few minutes, I will hook you up with some brand new tunes because I too love metal music. All right. Welcome back, friends, for episode number 14. Happy Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Terry here again with Cast Metal and another full metal review segment where I connect bands with fans just like you. I review extreme metal albums, give a detailed analysis, and when it's over, I decide if they will go into my own library or not. And I design full metal reviews to answer one question only, and that is, where can I get more metal music? All right. So every day from my Apple Music app, I dig through the metal section to review all of the newest releases for stuff I can add to my own library. Then I review it, and then I share it with you, and I make a YouTube video. All right. So, bonus two, if you stick around till the end, I'll give you a pretty sweet, heavy recommendation from my own treasure chest, my library, just for watching today's show. So, now, see this list right here? If you like the stuff that is in this list, death metal, black metal, and all the other stuff here, this show is for you because I review and analyze this kind of stuff all day. All right. So let's start the show. A recap. Yesterday, I reviewed Domination Campaign, A Storm of Steel, and I added it to my library. It was really good, crunchy death metal. And today, I picked right out of the blue, and it's a mystery from the Apple Music selection. I am going to try out Nargothrond. Okay, so the album is called Morning Season, and as a bonus, I'm also testing out 2 more new metal albums today. So I'm going to finally do that 3 that I've been promising if you've been following me, because I'm still in a beta mode. I'm still working out bugs. I'm going to be in beta mode for the next, for the first 30 episodes, and then after that, I'm going to move over. Hopefully everything is tight. But today we're going to do 3 of them. All right. So the rules are very clear. Okay, 1, I review all albums without a preview. I avoid live albums and I avoid single albums because it's not fair to make a video about one song, I don't think. 2, I keep my reviews short and positive. 3, not everything I review will make it into my library, but I won't knowingly badmouth anyone's work. I feel that I have no right to judge. I don't know how to play an instrument. I don't sing or anything like that. Okay, guys, so let's go. So we move here to the band bio, and it says here that Nargothrond formed in 2001. They're from Greece. They have 3 full-length albums and some singles too. And reminder that I did the band bio here, as you're hearing it, after the review and before recording the video, so as to not to influence my decision, okay? Before listening to the album, I did an overview, first impressions, and a process check. Remember, whatever the outcome of this review, please remember that these artists are generally worthy of you giving them a chance, okay? So, in the unveiling or overview, in the same way that I would unbox a product to show you on a video, as I opened the page, I saw that there were 9 strong-looking tracks, and the album cover artwork, as you can see here, it's a black and white with upside down red crosses. We have a girl or a witch, probably mourning nature. It seems to be Wiccan style fonts and so on and so forth. If the album cover matches the band name and the song titles, I believe I'm in for something in the area of, we'll call it European black metal or possibly prog. I'll just say that. My first impression and prediction: before I play any album, I try to visualize the outcome. I always think positive, but in this case, I think I'm in for something pretty good, something probably pretty dark. I'm predicting black metal or maybe prog metal, as I mentioned before. I'll compare my vision, my prediction, to the review results in the bio afterwards, okay? So the process, I created a checklist that starts with a 10-track review page, a 9-category complete album description review page, an individual performance review page, and for each artist and their instruments, and finally a summary review page to wrap things up. All right. Next up is a breakdown of each track. Okay. To manage time, I only mention tracks by number 1 through 10. And I only go through 10. So if it's a 12 album song, if it's a 12 song album rather, then I only do 10 and I leave the other 2 of them or whatever after 10 up to you guys. Okay, so track number 1 is described as dark, horror, piano to electric guitar opening. Okay, very gothic. Track number 2 is cryptic, harsh, and harmonious. Track number 3 is black, thin, and gothic. Track number 4 is painful, sorrowful, yet explosive. Track number 5 is funeral-like, and it's grinding and emotional. Track number 6 is instrumental versions. Track number 6 through 10, rather, are just instrumental versions of the first 4. So I actually stopped the review, okay? And I just went through it that way because they're basically all the same thing, but with no vocals. So during listening, the next checklist describes the overall album's core qualities. Okay, so let's go. The recording and the sound quality was thin, harsh, and unbalanced, and almost completely, to be very frank with you, without bass. And it's the nicest thing that I can say. The guitar was entirely too loud, and I couldn't hear any bass guitar whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to be frank with you. I did not like the recording whatsoever. The production and musicality is raw. The energy and intensity is moderate. Rhythm and tempo, I couldn't tell because I couldn't hear the bass guitar or the drums barely. Okay, just the snare drum. The lyrical theme is dark and mournful. Genre critique, Apple categorizes this as metal. I think some type of black metal or progressive. The potential prediction, could they go mainstream? Track 8 is actually coined as a radio edit, if you look at it. So that seems to be their desire. Okay, the range and flow and the layout is pretty much all over the place. It's very random. And who are they similar to? I couldn't pick anybody because the music offhand doesn't, the recording is bad enough, and the singer has a cryptic, witchy vocal set, if you know what I mean. So next, I also noted observations for each artist individually. So here's the scoop on that. The singer sounds like the backup vocalist for Belphegor. Okay, if you know the band Belphegor and you know the backup singer, then that's about as best as an explanation as I can give it. The guitars were just screaming, strong, and very harsh. The bass guitar, I'm not sure by the recording if they even had a bass guitar player, to be frank with you. The drums, they were snappy, and you can tell that there was plenty of kick drum action because you can just hear just the snap part. And they obviously used a lot of piano and synthesizers to round things out and fill in stuff. Summary, now that I've listened to the entire album, how does it compare with my first impression? Was my prediction accurate? Well, they are indeed a black metal band. That's what they are coined as in their bio. My favorite track was, well, I didn't have any, but the opening number was kind of nice with the piano work and so on and so forth. Emotionally, was there any chills or goosebumps? Not. Flavors, well, if I had to compare it with a favorite food, I think it would be more like a mouthful of salt. Tonality shades, light or dark, very dark. Funeral dark, as a matter of fact. Colors, earth tone brown. Temperature, hot or cold? I would say it's cold as ice. Hide it from my wife factor? Yeah, I would. Quite frankly, it never happened. I probably won't even tell her about this one. Finally, is it going into my library? No, and frankly, the recording's hideous, and I'm being very kind. I am a rhythm lover, and I can actually hear that the music that they were doing was quite good, except the recording was just not going to cut it for me. Okay. So moving right along to part 2, we have our second review is the Grand Master. Okay. And the band bio, there was none, but they do have 2 full-length albums. I looked all over the internet to see if they had any type of a bio. There was no information about these guys, except that they were international. They had members from Brazil, Germany, and I think Italy, and so on and so forth. They were multinational. Once again, in the same way, I would unbox a product to show you a video. As I opened the page, I saw that there were 11 strong-sounding tracks. The album cover artwork, as you can see here, it's an alternative planetary theme like the movie Dune. It's got fancy golden fonts up at the top for their name, and they're very sharp. It's very beautiful. I think that if the album cover matches the band name and the song title, hopefully I'm in for something good. I quite frankly think that I'm in for something that's going to be OG sounding, like metal from the 80s or something like that. My first impression, same as earlier, before I play an album, I try to visualize the outcome. I always think positive, okay, but in this case, I think I'm in for something decently good. I'm predicting it could be anything from metalcore to a throwback from early metal, because I don't know what to expect. I compare my prediction here with the review results and bio afterwards, okay? The process, as I explained earlier, I created a 4-tiered checklist to document everything to share with you guys, okay? So track number 1, it's fast, good attack from the lead guitar and very rhythmic. Track number 2 is actually motoring, chugging, and harmonious. Track number 3 it sounds more like an anthem. It's also varying and very melodic. Track number 4 is deep, meaningful, and climactic. Track number 5 is bursting, rangy, and vibrant. Track number 6 is big. It builds up and it's proggy sounding. Track number 7 is soulful, stirring, and acoustical. A very nice ballad. Track number 8 is pretty powerful, melodic, and rhythmic. Track number 9 is standard and very like hard rockish, different from the others. It's a small taste of metalcore guitar work in there. I think that they're using like a 7 or an 8 string guitar in there. Track number 10 it's straight up hard rock, to be honest. And during listening, my checklist for recording and sound quality is very flat. Like, it's older recording gear, or maybe they were going for a vintage sound, but nothing really pops out on the recording, okay? It's not like it's got a super huge amount of bass or cymbal work or anything like that. It sounds raw as far as musicality goes. The energy and intensity is quite good. The rhythm and tempo is good, rangy. Lyrical theme is that hope for humanity feel. It pretty much matches the album cover. Was Apple right? They said metal, and I think it's like original metal or hard rock, to be very honest with you. Could they go mainstream? I think that may be their desire. I think that they are reaching to get into that market to get on radio. The range, flow, and layout is actually consistent. All of the tracks, there's not a bad track on there. Who are they similar to? And mind you that these are just small sprinkles of who I'm going to mention, but I'm going to say that they sound somewhat like Bon Jovi, Journey. If anyone remembers the band Dokken, and a tinge of actually Accept, the lead singer, he sounds a lot like, not a lot like, just a little wee bit like Udo Dirkschire from Accept. So the next up is the during listening phase, individual artist performance, and the singing and vocalizations are a bit twangy. Okay, a little raspy. Again, he's got a tinge of the singer from Accept in there, if anything. The guitar's good with really great lead and rhythm work. I like some of the leads, some of the solo work that he was doing there. The bass guitar, you can tell he's right there with the drummer. The drums and percussion, lots of double kick action. Additional sounds, there's some synthesizer, uses. There's some synthesizer use, and it kind of matches the theme of the album cover pretty decently. And in summary, was my prediction accurate? Sort of. I predicted OG sounding metal, like 80s stuff, and I did get that. The best that I can add is that they sort of have a prog or a hard rock feel. My favorite tracks were number 8. It had some good lead guitar solos in there. Emotionally, any chills or goosebumps? Bopping along, but no goosebumps. Flavors, well, it kind of like grandma's apple pie. It's nice to hear something civil again once in a while. Tonality, shades, light or dark, it's definitely on the lighter side. Colors, well, blue and green for trust in the old school sound, I would give it. Temperature, hot or cold, I'd give them a warm. Hide it from my wife factor? Nah, I wouldn't hide it from her. It's not bad. And finally, is it going into my library? No, I did my thing and I listened to the whole album and I'm rooting for them, but no. I'm a little wee bit more modern than that with my selections. And that is it for the Grandmaster. So part 3. My next band up is called Ruthless, The Fallen. And band bio, formed in 82. They are considered a heavy or power metal band out of California, USA. Do not have any other albums on Apple Music, but they seem to have 8 albums mentioned on the internet somewhere, probably in vinyl or CD. And you already know that I do the band bio here after the review and before the recording, so the video won't influence my decision to possibly pass on reviewing them, okay? And you know the overview, first impressions, and process checks. So remember, whatever the outcome is, remember that these artists are worthy of giving them a chance. Okay, so consider that. Unveiling overview. And once again, the same way I would unbox a product to show you a product. As I opened the page, I saw there were 10 strong sounding tracks. The album cover artwork, as you can see, is actually a beautiful warrior work with dark skies look. Reminds me of Saxon, actually, with blood-drawn and Roman-style fonts. And if the album cover matches the band name and song titles, I believe I am in for something in the area of something fast and at least moderately heavy. So my first impressions and predictions, same as earlier. Before I play any album, I try to visualize the outcome. Thinking positive as usual. I believe it could be a good one for my library. I'm predicting anywhere from metalcore, prog, or maybe even death metal. But death metal might be a reach, I think. So I'll compare my prediction to the results afterwards, okay? Process, as I explained earlier. It's a 4-tiered checklist, moving right along. Starting with individual track descriptions. Okay, here's the track breakdown by numbers. Track number 1 I described as bluesy, gritty, and hard. Track number 2, rangy, rockin', and good attack. Track number 3, punchy, thrashing, yet harmonious and good lead guitar work on this one. Track number 4 is deep rhythmic and patriotic. Track number 5 is scorching. Actually, a little wee bit Maiden flavored, a little bit of Iron Maiden in there. Track number 6, ballad-like, sorrowful, meaningful. Track number 7, energetic, powerful, and hard. Track number 8, chugging, bluesy, and deep. Track number 9, just pumping, rhythmic, and great lead guitar attack. Track number 10, Very bluesy, smoky, and quite satisfying, actually. It wasn't a bad tune. Uh, it, I would say that in summary, they sound like early in the Saxon or British era metal feel with more modern guitar work. Solo guitar junkies are gonna love this stuff for sure. Okay, if you like solos, this band here does an awful lot of them. So the recording quality, moving along to the second checklist, is it's another band that's going for a flatter vintage sound, I think, unless they just haven't visited a more modern studio. They just don't know about it. Production and musicality, it's more refined and produced than the last album. The energy and intensity is good. It's on the higher side. Rhythm and tempo, plenty of rhythm. Lyrical theme, it's got that we fight for freedom feel. Was Apple right? They said metal, and I think sure. But it's more like OG or 80s original or prog sound, okay? Could they potentially go mainstream? Sure, it might be what they're after. The range, flow, and layout is consistent. It's not a bad track. Similar to Saxon, Tigers of Pantang. It was a pretty good ride, actually. During listening, the singing and the vocalizations, the singer's very strong, but it's pure, clear singing, and there's no growl stuff. It's nothing modern. It's more, again, like the 80s stuff. The guitars are really good rhythm and really good lead guitar work. Bass guitar is very accurate. Drums and percussion is good. Lots of action, lots of passion there. There were no additional other sounds. There was no synthesizer, no filler stuff, no sampling or anything like that. And now it's time for summary. We're wrapping it up. And now that I've listened to the entire album, how does it compare to my first impression? Well, track number 8 was kind of cool. But I'm going to be honest with you, getting back to the prediction, metalcore or deathcore. Wow, guys, I feel like a bonehead, but I did say prog, so go ahead and laugh, okay? It's on me. So, emotionally, were there chills and goosebumps? No, not really. Flavors? Well, it's another piece of Granny's apple pie, right? And who doesn't like that? Tonality shades, light or dark, very light. Colors, blue for bluesy. Temperature, hot or cold. And I say warm as in it warms my heart. Hide it from my wife factor? No. Finally, is it going in my library? And it's going to be a no. That's 3 today that won't be going into my library. This album here, it's slightly more preferable than the last album I reviewed. I'm glad I heard it. And I do recommend all the old school guys who really like this kind of stuff to give it a go. Listen, all my life, I've been the type of person who looks forward to what's coming next. I look forward to tomorrow. And when it comes to music, I'm very progressive for a guy my age. I can't help that, but I wish all 3 bands the best. But really right now, after this review, I am going to go and I'm going to get myself some bleh, if you know what I mean, because I'm a rhythm lover and I like my new stuff. So, and here we are. We're at the end. We've made it. And, oh yeah, I promised a track that I would give you, right? A bonus. All right. Time to dig into my treasure chest here and see what we got. Oh, yeah, there it is. All right. Try this one out, okay? Actually, I'm going to give you 2 of them. Okay. I'm going to recommend Flesher, Tales of Grotesque Demise. That is some black metal, death metal stuff. And how about some Jesus Piece? That's a little wee bit more on the metalcore side. And the album there is called So Unknown, and Flesher, Tales of Grotesque Demise. I believe that's their first album. This is a newer band. Yeah, that sounds about right. So a final note, everybody, on stuff that does not make it into my library. If you subscribe and you're going to watch me for any amount of time and you don't like anything that you guys will see the type of tastes that I like. And some of you, many of you, might even not like what I put down or anything like that. The stuff that I go into my library might not be up to what you guys might do. So the stuff that I don't put into my library could be real treasure for you guys, right? I don't know that for sure. I could wind up getting all kinds of flack for the stuff that I don't put into my library in the comments section. It's very, very hard to say. So, and that's a wrap, guys. So remember to support your favorite bands, okay? Stream them often, buy the merch, go see them live, all that great stuff. And join me again soon for another episode of Full Metal Reviews. Please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hit itself, okay? Subscribe, engage, follow the links, and set up your notifications so you get notified of some more new metal that I will send your way so you can get your new recommendations first. All right, so cheers and happy Tuesday.